Ielts listening module format, challenges that you face in listening, and tips and tricks to overcome these. Hi, I'm Navneet Chandra from Just Evaluate. I'm an IELTS and PTE trainer, and today I'll be taking up the IELTS module and discuss it in detail. Okay, so here goes. Now, a quick overview of the listening module. So, as many of you must be aware, we're already preparing for the IELTS exam, that there are 4 sections of listening module. 4 sections means 4 audios. And there will be 10 questions per section. So these audios will be continuous with a small break in between. Now, these audios you can hear only once, nothing will be repeated. So you have to be very, very attentive. And before the first section starts, you'll get 30 seconds to read the questions of this section. So you have to give a quick glance to the questions and make a note of the keywords so that when the audio starts, you're able to quickly fill in the blanks or whatever type of questions are given, you're able to do them very quickly. Once the first section ends, you'll be given 30 seconds to review your answers and then another 30 seconds to see the next set of questions. So in total, you have 1 minute before the second section starts. So, in my opinion, you should use this 1 minute to see the next set of questions instead of wasting time on the first, because you have to move with the audio. So, 1 minute is more than enough to give a quick glance to the next set of questions. There are 40 questions in all. You will be given 30 minutes in a computer based test, and you'll be given 10 minutes extra in a paper based test as you need to transfer your answers from a rough sheet to a fair sheet. So, in a paper based test, you'll get 40 minutes. Most of the answers will come in a chronological order. So, you have to listen to the audio and keep on filling or matching or whatever the question be, answering side by side. Now, why can listening be difficult? Because there are a range of different accents. They can be British, they can be Australian, Canadian, American, or from some other country which you're not very familiar with. And so that's a big challenge. Now, if your spellings are wrong, you make grammatical errors, and you don't follow the word limit, then of course your marks will be cut. So one has to be very attentive. And as I've discussed earlier, there are 4 sections. Section 1, that is the first audio, deals with a social conversation. That is everyday social context, like maybe two people conversing with each other, or at times a person is trying to book a hotel and there's a receptionist at the other end. So the conversation between the two, or booking of flight tickets, or a conversation between a shopkeeper and a customer. So basically, it's a conversation between two people. Now, this is the most easiest and slowest, and therefore highly scoring section. Okay, next we go to the second section, that is the second audio. Here also, everything is in social context, but more on providing information. Like, for example, there's some park or a building or a place, or there's a speech about local facilities there, and it will be a monologue, like just one person talking or describing something. So here mostly you'll get a map based or a diagram based question. Now we go on to the third audio, which will be third and fourth audios are academic in nature. You'll be talking about some subject, maybe history or science or any other subject. So section 3 is academy, and section fourth too is academy. So here in third, 2 to 3 people might be talking to each other. They might be discussing a project, or they might be in a seminar, or they might just be a professor with 2, 3 students talking about some subject. And here the pace of the audio will increase and the difficulty level will also increase. So one has to be very careful while answering. And fourth, again, is an academic audio, and it is a monologue. That is, only one person is speaking, and he might be giving a lecture on some subject, which will be academic in nature. Now, the different types of questions that come in listening. It can be multiple choice, diagram labeling, flowchart completion, matching, sentence completion, summary completion, table completion, short answer questions, then identification like maybe a date, time, or location will be required to be filled in. So these are the different type of questions. Total marks for listening section 40, that is, as there are 40 questions, 1 mark for one question. Each correct answer 1 mark, as I said, and all these marks will then be converted into bands, anywhere between 0 to 9. So it depends on how many questions you get correct. Now, what are the challenges or problems in listening that a student faces? First is foreign accents. They can be a bit difficult to follow, especially the British and Australian accents, because British English is slightly different. It's faster, and at times they don't pronounce the entire word like in India we do. And also, Australian is also a bit difficult. Next is the pace or speed of the audio, as it will keep on increasing as you move from one section to the other. Next, there will be a lot of distractions. Distractions in the sense that a person might keep on speaking without giving out any answer. And the answer might be in the end. Or he might give a number wherein you're in the fill in the blank, you're required to fill in a number. So the first number that he says, you might just quickly write it down. But that might not be the answer. He might just change it towards the end, might share another number. So one has to listen carefully till the end of the sentence. There will be many such distractors. So one has to be very, very careful, and one has to practice a lot. Next, zero can be pronounced as O. Like instead of zero, they might just say O. So there will be many distractors like this. Now let's see, what are the strategies to improve the listening? What can you do to overcome these? First is you have to read a lot. So you might be thinking in a listening test, why should you read? See, only reading will improve your vocabulary. It will improve your knowledge. So read more and more articles about foreign countries. What is Canada talking about? What is Australia talking about? Then what about Britain? What about USA? What about Australia? So listen to all the podcasts from these countries, see what they are discussing. That will help you with the accent. Also, learn synonyms, because if in the question they've used a certain word, they might be using a synonym in the passage. That is, same meaning word. So one has to improve one's vocabulary, read a lot. Then listen to podcasts. As I said, you can listen to BBC programs, you can listen to other radio programs, but from different countries. Now it is very easy, everybody has internet. So just listen to news from other countries and see how they speak. Get used to the accents. And some students say that, can we watch a movie? And when we watch a movie, there are subtitles so we can easily understand. But here, you have to just listen. There won't be any subtitles, nothing. You're just listening and answering. So it's always better to only listen. Now, listening is very important. And you have to listen to the audio and write the answers side by side. The audio, as mentioned earlier, will not be repeated. You have to move along with the audio. Supposing you miss an answer and the audio is moving ahead, you have to move with it, leave that, and just move on. When you're given time to review your answers, you can come back and try an answer, and maybe it'll turn out to be correct. And then you have to manage your time. You have to move with the audio as mentioned. So, time management is very, very essential. And also follow the word limit. Write correct spellings, and you should have a clear handwriting. If your handwriting is not good, better to write in bold letters so that the examiner knows what you're trying to say. Now, what to do in the 30 seconds before the audio starts? This is very important, therefore, I'm repeating it. Don't waste this time. Give a quick glance to all the questions. Keep in mind the keywords like where a number is required to be filled in or a name. And so, once the audio starts, you'll be a bit familiar with the words and it'll be easier for you to fill in. In my next video, I'll be taking up a sample paper and discussing them. So, do tune in.